to another episode of Second Amendment Ranch. We actually have two special guests from a very interesting
exposure, and that's
situation. Yeah, I'll let them tell it. Before they start telling their stories, I got some more. We got a little talking during the intro. So I've got some questions, and hopefully I can help somebody pick out a new toy later. Let's bring it up. Eminem. Yes, Eminem. I'm cut the M and M.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
All right, Munchkin, how tall are you?
I'm 5'7.5".
Have you gone shooting before?
Yes, I've shot a really old musket at a what's it called, plantation a couple times. I've shot an A18. I've shot God, I forgot the name of that gun. So I think it was an AK. I'm not completely sure, but I've shot in some small like handguns, some bigger guns.
So have you played with a lot of different calibers, 9mm, 45, 40, 22? Okay. Have you found what caliber you prefer yet?
No.
Okay. That's one of the first things I'm going to recommend, because finding a gun is not as easy as some people think. Oh, this one's pretty, I want it. Which is fine for people that want to collect. But if you want functionality, you want something that's going to be concealable on you at all times, which, by the way, gun-free zones hold no ground anywhere. There's only two pieces of paper. It has to have the bills on them stating the law and statutes. And if it's anything else, if it says no guns allowed, if it says firearms not permitted on this premises, unless that bill is posted, you are more than legally allowed to carry that gun in there. But if they see it, they can ask you to leave the premises, and then
you're done.
Right.
Exactly. So that holds no grounds anywhere. But when you go and want to find your carry gun or your everyday, what you're going to have on you regularly, you want to look for a few things. I've personally learned over the years that my preference is 45, and it's not, it leaves the bigger hole, I can be less accurate. No, I'm more accurate with a 45. I like having the feel of a 45 is comfortable to me. 9mm, I'm always pushing away from it. I can't figure out why. And it's probably just because of how big my hands are. I'm more used to a heavier hitting gun. So find a caliber you really like first. Then go and look for the guns in this caliber. Okay, let's see. Let's find a Glock. And Glocks are overplayed. There are much better quality guns. Smith & Wesson, SIG. There are a lot better brands out there than Glock. I have hated Glock for years. I bought a Glock 21 just to, hey, I've got a Glock now. I wanted something with a little more carry capacity and 45 ACP, whatever. Hate it. Absolutely hate the damn thing. Then I've got a Glock 43X, which is a 9mm concealed carry pistol.
Right.
And it's blocky, it's not comfortable. So I looked around, I went up and down, and I found a Smith & Wesson M&P Shield. It's 45 ACP caliber, and it's very comfortable. So find a caliber you prefer, and then go shopping around. Find one that feels good in your hands. Go to ranges that allow you to rent their guns. Hey, do you have this available for me? Play with it a little bit. Learn how you like the gun. Look into how you can field strip it, different things like that, and see if you really want to deal with that headache. It is not as easy as that gun's shiny. It's not. Even though some people think it's so pretty. Squirrel brain, focus.
Right.
So get around, and I encourage you to, on your 18th birthday, go quick.
It's done.
So. But we can get in more about what to find, what to look for, what you want to deal with later on. I'm always available. We post our Discord regularly. You can always reach out to any one of us for whatever questions you have. But let's get into the real reason. And at the end of the show, I promise there will be plenty of time for more questions and discussions about what toys I have, what toys Wally and Carl have. So, yes, we call them toys, but we know how dangerous they are. It's a toy to people that actually know what they're doing. if you don't know what you're doing, and we always have a gun fail, which reminds me, Carl, I need to go back through this
Okay.
and pick that up.
But anyway, the reason we're here is, and we'll have Molly describe here in a second, what happened approximately, 28 hours ago?
Yes, sir.
28 hours ago. You were at work in the Cross Creek Mall in Fayetteville, North Carolina, correct?
Yes, sir.
I'm not a sir. Remember that. No bars up here. I see
Yes,
you smiling. That's all right. I appreciate
Mom,
the
you raised
courtesy.
her right.
Thank you.
But anyway, I want you to tell our listeners what happened while you was at work.
Yeah, no problem. So it had started out where usually working in the Cross Creek Mall, you have a lot of homeless people who are around. You have a lot of people who are definitely shady and probably,
Unsavory.
yeah, very unsafe, like people in general. There's always cops around and stuff like that, usually, but not on this particular day. Stuff had happened earlier on in the day, and there was barely anybody around. It was like a dead town for like a good 25, 30 minutes of me being there. Started to kick in more towards 12 o'clock. I was supposed to stay until 9 at night. So I get past 5, heading around 6:30 now. People start running out of the mall. And I'm noticing that people are just running out of the mall. Nobody knows why. They're just running. So I look over to my manager and I'm like, there's something going on here. There's something wrong. And so a guy comes up to the place I work at. I work at a pizza place that's like right near the doors. You'll walk into the mall, and I'm right there on the left. So,
On the right.
or on the
You're
right,
on the
yeah,
right.
on the right when you first walk in. Sorry. And so the guy had come in wearing normal clothes. I had seen him. He had walked past Primo. He was staying in a couple of the areas, like main area where guys could see. He walked back. People start running out the mall. People had said that they had seen a guy with a ski mask that was in the mall. He was indeed the one who had changed and come back over to the food court. Now, there's a foyer that opens up to the mall. So you have your glass doors, your American flag, the logo, everything's up front. I hear, get the on the ground, and literally, like, kids just start dropping, mothers start screaming. I'm looking at, like, two of my employees that are, like, over here. Me and my manager are over trying to make pizzas. And like he's like taking out his AirPod, like what's happening? So we both dragged each other to the ground, and I'm like trying to get my phone, but I'm like shaking and I don't have my inhaler. So I'm freaking out at this moment because there's nothing I can like get to at this point. So the guy starts shooting, and I hear, "Hey, get lost" or something. Somebody says something. He starts like walking backwards out of the mall. And I'm like, at this point, as soon as he's like walking out towards the mall, I'm like bear crawling to get to the back so we can shut the gate and lock everything down. So I'm scared at this point, but I'm not aware of my surroundings because I know what's happening. But the shock was so set that I was just like, you know what I mean? I didn't know.
Right.
So I did what any person would do. I grabbed my boss and we were bear crawling to the back, locked everything up. There was no police for at least 10 to 20 minutes. Nobody was up front.
No.
Everybody was running to the other side of the mall where security had the big what's it called, an autocom, and he like went on it and he was like, Cross Creek Mall's closed, everybody needs to get out now. By that time, everybody was already out of the mall. The only people that were in there were the employees who worked there, still shuttered back, trying to get away from everything. And then police finally show up. Security's yelling at people who work there to get the fuck out of the mall. And like it was just chaos. Police didn't know what they were doing. They were walking in, escorting other people out. There was kids crying. There was a whole like school field trip amount of kids in front of where I worked.
Right.
And I so sad because what if that bullet hit the kid that was right in front of the glass?
And that's why legal gun owners are liable for those rounds.
Right.
So, Carl, I'm so happy you brought these guests. Oh, God.
Well, it's a story that needs to be told. This young girl was put in a position that at one point the shooter wasn't that far away from her.
10 feet.
He was at
10
least 10
feet.
feet away from me.
So,
Did you see his gun?
Yeah.
Handgun or AK?
It was a handgun. It wasn't a gun that you could hold like a machine gun. It would have been way more trouble if it was a machine gun.
Oh,
He
nope.
had a gun. I can't remember exactly like what the gun was, but he was holding it sideways and he was just shooting.
Yeah,
So I
he was a gangbanger.
Oh,
Yep.
I've got
Bang, bang,
so
bang,
much
bang, bang.
advice for you.
Yeah.
One, there's no such thing as a machine gun on the civilian side. We have semi-automatic
Yeah,
weaponry.
semi-automatic.
An AR, AK, that would have been problematic if it was fully automatic. Less so problem because the fully auto, if you don't know what you're doing, your accuracy is garbage. I'm also going to
Okay, go ahead.
I'm also going to give you some tidbits. One, in a situation like that, you did good being unarmed. You stayed low, you stayed quiet, you got to safety. Bravo. Good on you. Take a breath. Every time, take a breath. If anything, find the guy that's calm and go hang out with him because he's about to cut loose and hit the fan.
She was with me. Yes.
So that guy that's sitting there looking like he's angry, that's who you need to go find. Because and fear has the two meanings that I've gone and beat up all over this show. Face everything and rise, or F everything and run. It's not so much face everything. Get pissed. Get absolutely agitated. Why the hell does this have? My day was already long enough. I've been on my feet for 6 hours. I'm supposed to be leaving soon. What the hell, dude? You get into that fear and it will 100% take over every single time. You get angry. You get just absolutely ready to put hands on somebody. You'll handle it a lot better. You won't be shaking. You might be shaking, but you're going to want to be shaking somebody's neck. Ask me how I know. I've had multiple experiences, 4 years in the Navy, especially after we lost the reactor and we're dead in the water and we had to run for 18 hours. Yeah.
Thank you for your service.
Don't be afraid. Never be afraid.
No, you did great by dropping down and army crawling back to the back room where you could shut the gate down on your pizza. Smartest thing you could have done.
And I want to cover cover and concealment for you as well. Cover is going to provide protection for you. So a door is not cover. It's only concealment. You can shoot through doors. Concrete walls, little more cover, little concealment, depending on the calibers you're facing. Somebody with a pistol, if you ever see somebody holding a gun sideways, start counting. Well, it's not so much that he's a gangbanger, but he's a little, he can't aim. Count the shots. Okay, average pistols, usually 9+1 up to about a 12+1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And this is one thing that's hard to get into anybody. You need to count your shots. One reason I hate fully automatics. Because you mag dump, you don't know how many rounds left you have if you stopped. So you count your shots. You count their shots if you can.
Right.
12,
From what I had
13,
seen
14.
and from what I heard when the shots first went off, there was 4 inside. That's how I knew because it was right. Like when I had my head, like when he first started shooting, he looked right at me, so I knew he had seen me. So when he saw me and he like went like this, what I did when I got on the floor was I crawled behind the corner of the fridge because it's at an angle. So I crawled behind the fridge and I waited there until my manager was like, everybody needs to get to the back. So then I started to like get really, really low from getting out behind there, and I like crawled back. I had to do it in training for an JROTC thing anyways, so I had remembered stuff from that to get me to where I needed to be.
JROTC is beneficial, but there's nothing like real situational training. Even airsoft and paintball are more beneficial than JROTC. And I'm not trying to bash on it or anything, but there are guys and gals out there that go paintballing and airsoft and get into it. Like combat zone, PTSD triggering into it. And that's one of the reasons why I want to get the ranch is for people like y'all that have never had to experience anything. Where it's a run-of-the-mill day and, oh, crap, somebody brings a gun in. What do I do? And the funny part is, if it's a privately owned business, they can actually legally put a shotgun in there and authorize whoever they want to use it. So
Right.
we did it. I've done it. I've had guns pulled at me twice at bars. My manager had a shotgun in the closet. They also know I have a little bit of a temper and like getting in people's face more than anything. And it wasn't my fault. I had the guns pulled on me. I was a bouncer, so I want to make that clear. No, the first time was kind of my fault. Second time was. The first time was. That's a different story. That's Navy days. But if you've never had actual active shooter training, and the schools get under the desk and do
That's
what?
so
Kiss my
ridiculous.
butt goodbye. That's they have bulletproof blankets. There's no such thing as bulletproof anything. Eventually, after a certain number of rounds or a high enough count, we have anti-material rifles. A blanket might stop the bullet, but it is not going to stop the internal damage from that bullet.
Right.
So yeah, there's benefits, but active shooter training, what they always teach you, every company, everywhere you work, hide, run, get out, stay low, stay quiet, barricade yourself. If you can call 911, call 911. Well, we've seen how effective 911 really is. 10 minutes plus to get there. I mean, you had an hour for the Uvalde shooting, or I've got about 3 seconds where I can put my arm on anything on my table and deal with the problem. What would y'all rather use? I want to go home tonight.
Right.
So your company's shooting themselves in the foot. That mall's shooting them. They're looking at a massive liability suit, which I encourage you to lawyer up, because they're infringing on your Second Amendment right. And they don't have the posted documentation saying you can't legally carry, or that you are not allowed to legally carry there. They have a no gun or gun-free zone, which does absolutely. This is another story that proves the point that a gun-free zone is a giant target.
It is, and it's like there's so many things wrong with that mall in general that it just needs to be gone at that point.
How many security people were there?
Hey, Mom, plug your ears. I'm going to teach your daughter how to make napalm.
Because they're already short-staffed, and I know everybody who is in security because I work there. I made friends with all of the security people, so they know who I am. But the problem with it is only 5 of them showed up today. There was only 5 people, and there's 4 accesses, 4 gates to the mall. Through Belk, through JCPenney, through Macy's, and through the food court.
Mall security gets a joke anyways.
And, right. There's no point. They're rent-a-cops. They're not going to do anything. They can't even have a gun. There's no point.
They have no well, to carry a gun, you have to have there's licensing. To be a security guard, you have to have a specific license. To be a security guard, you have to. There's several different criteria for that. So not having a gun that's on the mall. If you're going to make it a gun-free zone, then you need to protect it. If somebody comes in with a gun, what's the best way to stop somebody with a gun? And that's the funniest part. So I work at a survival and safety training facility. And as much as it would be nice to be with guns, it's not. Half of us are veterans. We've got about 4 Army veterans, 2 Navy veterans, and then a Marine Corps boot camp guy that broke his leg at boot camp. So he got medically discharged. So there's a whole lot of pent-up everything at this company. And we had to do active shooter training. And it was hilarious. Because they did the same thing every single company does. What do y'all do with an active shooter? Here's the slides. Make sure you stay low, find concealment, find cover, hide, barricade the doors, or flee the property the best you can, calling 911. We get to the test portion. And it's an open test, it's an ask everybody. The instructor asks the staff, what do you do? All of the veterans shoot back. And the instructors look, and the funny part is the instructor teaching this is a licensed FFL dealer. That's what makes it even better. He sells guns part-time. So it's great. We have our own little FFL at our job. It's perfect. So he's looking at us like we are all bonkers. Like, no, you're supposed to look at him. I get what you're trying to teach us. Navy, Navy, Marine, Army, 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 Army. What makes the grass grow? Blood. Blood makes the grass grow. Ta-da. You have a staff of 14 people. Of them, 7 have dealt more damage with guns than anybody else at this company combined. So, when we have an active shoot, well, you can't carry in the building. Do you have signs posted?
They do.
They have one.
Yeah, they have one that's posted.
It's in front of the mall when you first turn in on a tiny
Gun-free
light post.
zone.
It says no weapons allowed, and there's a sticker covering the weapon because people don't care.
Right.
Right. So now you got to the back and shut the gate down. When did you call your mom?
I called my mom when he was still shooting. I had my
So,
little
Mom, you heard the gunshots on the phone.
My little sister picked up her phone.
Yeah.
So when my little sister I tried to mute it because I didn't want to scar her. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So he had picked up her phone. I was like, you need to get mom. You need to get mom. Well, why? Because somebody's shooting and mom needs to get to the mall. You
That's
need
when
to
I
let
took
mom
the
know.
phone. That's
and
when
that's
I took the phone.
Yeah. So it was, and then after everybody was figuring out what was going on, so many people were like calling me, hey, do you need me to come get you? Do you need me to get you a ride? Do I need to come right now? Like literally half of my friends were like blowing up my phone, like, we can come get you. We can make sure everything's okay. We'll let your mom know.
I'll phrase it this way. I'm the guy you want to call if I'm close enough. And here's how I know that. My dad got involved in a drive-by shooting. He waited 3 hours to call me to let me know it happened because he knew I would have gone and tried to find somebody. Don't shoot at the people I care about. I shoot back. There's an old quote that says it's better to be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war. What it means is if you are absolutely useless and you cannot perform any acts of violence, you are not peaceful. You are harmless.
Right.
And they bring up the quote below us: a bad guy with a gun can be stopped by a good guy with a gun. The actual full quote of that, and I'm gonna butcher it terribly, but in order to stop an evil man from doing the unthinkable, it takes a good man willing to do the unthinkable in a better manner. You want to stop the guy with a gun? You get the guy with the gun that trains. Him shooting sideways, and odds are, if you count the shots right, okay, he shot 15 rounds. He can't have much left. Let's see if we can make him pop off a few more if he's going to start fumbling in his pockets. It only takes about, 3 to 6 seconds to close a 15-foot gap. Knives are better than guns in that fight. Yes, you can bring a knife to a gunfight as long as the gap is full.
Detain 2 people. They did detain 2 people.
Around like 11 or 12 that night, they did catch 2 people. We don't know if they are the people. All I knew was that when the 2 people who did start, because there was the driver and then there was the guy that came in, they did say they tagged his car the second that he left the mall parking lot. So that's all I knew. But from what security was saying is he's still in the building. Everybody locked down. He was already out of the building within the first 5-6 shots. So they were
because he knows the cops was on the way.
Well,
you start popping off shots.
When Mom got there, when Mom got at the mall, she was live on her Facebook telling what happened, and they said they're still looking for the shooter.
Yep.
At that point in time. So they didn't know if he was in there or out.
So, Mom, here's my advice for you. 1, sue for 2 reasons. Not allowing the carry, infringing on the Second Amendment right. 2, you have 2 daughters that now have been, and yes, you are emotionally scarred for life because of this. You're following with me, right?
Oh,
Yep. You now have 2 children that have been emotionally scarred, and this mall needs to pay out because this needs to be a hard lesson learned for this mall. You let your people carry, you have less liability. Well, why? Cops can handle it. The cops actually don't. There is an actual stipulation that the Supreme Court put out in like 2012 that says they can choose what calls they actually go to. They also have a law that states if they ask you to help, you legally have to help or you're being held on federal charges. So they do the protect and serve mentality needs to disappear.
Yeah.
They are not here to protect and serve. You want to protect yourself. Protect those around you. Carry heavily.
This is what needs to be brought out, especially in Fayetteville, right there. We talked earlier today and stuff. Voices need to be heard. Go to the city and talk to them. Make it known that mall, they need to take that gun-free zone out of there. This could have been prevented.
Look at the perfect example of what Carl's talking about here of preventing mass shooting actually happened in Texas before the Uvalde shooting. I don't know what the heck happened there. But there was an individual that went into a church, and this is just after Texas passed the bill allowing us to carry in churches. It's great. So they passed this bill, and this dude thought it would be a great idea to go and kick in a door in a church and try and shoot up the place. Wrong church. He got off. He didn't manage to kill 2 people, but one of the just normal people sitting there pulled his gun out and shot the bad guy right in the head. Gun stopped. What could have been a mass murder done in 10 seconds, 15 seconds.
As they always say, it takes a good guy to stop a bad guy.
It's a sad case, but how worse could it be if we did not have this law allowing us to protect ourselves? You have the right of freedom of speech, right to practice any religion you want to practice. And there are still people that are going against every single religion out there. Look, I mean, there's Christians that are being bashed, Norse paganism, Catholics, you name it. Somebody out there in the world, in America, is still going after your religion, whatever you are. And we're not going to talk religion on this show.
But just like you was talking earlier, you got your CCW license down there and everything. Here in Missouri, we don't need a CCW. We have open carry and concealed carry open now. We're the Second Amendment preservation state here.
Still
where we can carry a gun into any building. All they got, if they don't want us in there with a gun, they'll ask us to leave. That's their business, you know. They have that right. But we can carry it into anything, anywhere around here. That's why more states has got to take this over. But in your situation down there, how many places in Fayetteville are listed as a gun-free zone?
I know all the malls are and the government buildings are.
Mainly.
So government buildings are not a gun-free zone. They are not, that one is illegal to carry at all.
Right.
That is one that is on one of those stipulations. You can, and I can justify it because it's government building. There's a lot of classified information. There's always cases going on. That makes sense to me. So that one's not a gun-free zone. That's you can't have a gun here or we're going to put you down. But they're always crawling with lots of other people with guns. So
everywhere you go in Fayetteville is basically a free zone. Reason being is because Fayetteville is known as basically a ghetto now. Every part of it is a ghetto. It's not considered anything that's good. It's one of the worst cities to be in because there's always something going on. There's always crime. There's a shooting that just happened up the street.
Spring Lake.
There's so many things.
Just a couple weeks ago.
Me and my friends went into a Best Buy, and I have a friend who was an ex-police officer that I used to hang out with. Seth was his name. And we would always go, and we tried to go into the Best Buy just to grab some new earphones he needed and whatever. So we go in, and they instantly, you need to leave the store right now. We're not doing anything. We're just trying to shop and do a bunch of stuff. I don't see what we're doing that's wrong. He has a gun. Okay, well, if somebody comes in here and tries to kill me, and then he has to explain to my mom why I'm dead, I think that's going to be a conflict of interest, don't you think?
Yeah. Right.
And they're like, no.
I don't like guns. They're scary. Hey, Mom, can I introduce you to your new best friend, by the way? You've got daughters, obviously. You like shotguns? I do. You got shotguns?
There's one in the house, yes.
So let me introduce you to a magazine fed semi-automatic shotgun.
Take your green screen down.
Yeah. So if you're in that bad of a... if you're in that bad of an area, let me recommend the Typhoon F12 mag-fed shotgun. This says screw home intruders very quickly. Very quickly.
Well, it's a good thing I'm a good shot because if they get past my alarm and they get past my dogs, he's not going to get past me.
Mm-hmm. I'm just
doing
my part to harm more society.
When you got to the mall, how long were you at the mall before you got to see Molly and get her out of there?
We had just pulled up and I had texted her, I'm here, please come out. And she came out right away. And her sister and I pretty much just ran and we lost it for probably about 5 minutes. It was the longest ride from my house to the mall I think I had ever had.
Now, to keep in mind, just to keep in mind, from here, where I live to the mall, it's a good 45 minutes, 30, 45 minutes.
40 minutes.
Every place around in my area that I've tried working at, because of my age, they will not hire me. They think I'm just going to slack off, and they put me in the box with everybody else. Never the case.
That is a generational thing.
Yeah.
It's been getting worse and worse. And I know it's not all of y'all, but a good portion of y'all are putting a bad name on obviously those that actually want to work. Which it's insulting. You wean out the bad ones. I actually deal with contractors all the time, and they keep coming up to me, "Hey man, we really want y'all to thin the ones they're going off to the oil field. You can't be soft in the oil field. I'll tell you that right. If you are weak, they will eat you alive." And their turnover is outrageous because they're running all the old cats off because that old guy said something smart, and that I'm offended. I don't give a flying if you're offended. You are entitled to be offended. I'm entitled to offend you. And now that I know you're offended, I'm going to keep pushing that button until you quit.
Okay.
Right.
Now, my next question to you is, how old is your younger sister?
She's 13.
She just turned 13.
So what's her view on all this? She took the phone call, handed Mom. She had an idea what was going on.
He was scared to death. She said, "Mom, there's been a shooting." And I grabbed the phone, and Molly said, "Mom, please come get me right now, right now, right now. I need to go home right now." So I pretty much dropped everything, grabbed my purse, got in the car, and drove down there.
Another little tip for you: you need to call your corporate office and let them know you need paid time off for what's the terminology I'm looking for? You might have to look it up. You can't actually get compensated for this.
Yeah,
she's not going into work for the next couple of days.
Yeah, yep. I'm thinking about planning on quitting regardless because it's just my bosses have put me so far in this ringer. Like, I could explain. My boss showed up, and I'll explain this for the record. I will not say a name, but for real, my boss showed up, and his response was, "Wow, I'm so sorry, and I feel so bad for you. If I will make sure, because everybody clocked out at around 6, 7. So he's like, I will make sure that I will clock all of you out at 9:30. Y'all will get paid. Don't worry about it."
These people don't want anything to do with me at all.
As if it was something
no,
so
they don't, Mom.
No, they don't.
And I told my boss, because my boss has kids who actually work there. So I told my day night manager, I was like, "D, you really need to like give me this time. Like, I cannot go in tomorrow. I can't." And she was like, "It's no problem. I have kids. If it was with me, I would have said the same thing. Take as much time as you need off." But the thing with my bosses is my friend actually broke her ankle at one of their establishments. And he basically ghosted her and blocked her because she wanted, the compensation from what had happened.
Right.
They're idiots running a business, and they don't know what they're doing. So trying to take
that's the problem. It's the exact. They know what they're doing. They're trying to make
any part of me.
They're trying to hide the fact that incidents are happening because they have to report them. It's documented. It looks bad for the company overall. So your boss did something illegal. Your employee got injured at work. She needed a lawyer. You have about 2 years to lawyer up. If it's still within that time frame, tell her to get a lawyer now.
I already told her.
Yeah, she filed with the Better Business Bureau, and she filed for workers' comp and all that other stuff.
And somebody called the health department on them as well.
Now, I would also call the Better Business Bureau to come and investigate your boss, because it sounds like a lot of what he's doing is bordering on what's legal and what's illegal, and he's trying to run his company and trying to be that good brown-nosing mom. Don't explain that to her yet. She'll learn in a few years.
Oh, she already knows. She already knows.
Yeah. Those are the bosses that I like to have my sidebar conversations.
They don't want any part of me, and they got to one point where they said to Molly, "We like your mom, but your mom doesn't belong here, and she doesn't need to be putting her nose in your business." And Molly basically said, "I'm a minor. I am my mother's business." And that's just the way that.
Yeah, the biggest problem I have with my bosses, and I've even told my mom, like, when I go to work, I want to try to make that just my business, because it's my business. and I don't want her to be so
And I
involved
step
sometimes.
aside and
she
I let
does.
her do her
But
thing.
when it gets to a point and I'm still the age I am,
Game over.
I unleash her. That's just it. I don't care.
Unleash the mom.
Like,
That's what we call
it's
that.
to the point where it's like, if I can't handle this because they're just being idiots, and I've even told my bosses, I can quit right now, but you don't want me to quit because you need me. And they've already tried firing me, and they've already tried doing all this extra shit, and it's just not working.
I can't get companies to understand. You can fire me at a flick of the wrist, but you want me to give you a 2 weeks notice. You think that's the professional thing to do? No, if you burn me, I'm going to burn you. Well, you can't just quit. You have to give. I can 100% give you a 2 weeks notice. I can 100% tell you to kiss my ass. Well, either way, I tried to censor myself a little bit there. I worked on it.
I know.
No, I can 100% tell them whatever. And I have told bosses before. And I have told bosses either you fix him or I'm going to beat the brakes off this guy. And they have sided with me or they have argued with me. And I've gone head to head with dozens of bosses. I'm an adult. You're not yet. And you'll learn over time what you can say, what you can't say, how much you're willing to tolerate, how much you'll put up with. You'll find your morals and values, and you'll find what ground and hill you're willing to die on. And once you find that, you are going to be a much more dangerous person because you will know, no, I'm done.
And she's taken her share of the ignorance, and she's taken her share of chasing her paycheck. They still have not fixed her paperwork to where her check will be put onto a card that it automatically goes onto the card for everybody else.
It's all illegal. All of it is
Molly
illegal.
has not
All
received her check on a card. They either cash app her money or they say, come by the store and we'll give you cash. I've had words with these two people, and I've been in customer service my whole life. And when I started to see these things, I'm like, Molly, you need to bring these things to the forward front because these are things that aren't just normal things. These are get my
illegal things.
Yeah, give me my paycheck when it's payday. I don't want to have to drive 40 minutes to go get it when everybody else is getting paid while they're sleeping.
Right. Yeah. It's not,
you know,
even, and this isn't my first rodeo job either. I've worked since I was 13 years old.
I've
had working papers since I was 13.
Yep.
I've been cleaning houses. I
mowing lawns.
I've done all this other stuff. But these people, they just don't care.
Hearing your side, I'm going to tell you, get compensated. One, Mom, sounds like you're already going to lawyer up, and I tell you, go after everything they own. The company, the business, the mall, everything. Sue them all for infringing on the Second Amendment, which is illegal. Sue them for emotional distress. You, young one, need to get paid for time off for emotional distress, and as soon as you get that paycheck, quit. You're still living at home. Mom understands the situation.
Absolutely.
I'm telling you right out from going through all the crap. This is 2 decades of dealing with, because I worked when I was young. Going through 2 decades of just crap like that, get out of it now. Because if something goes wrong, how much can you prove versus how much can they prove? That's a fight you do not want to be in. Don't go back to that job. Get paid for your time off. Get paid for the emotional distressing. Sue them for the emotional damages. Get a good paycheck for the house. Don't go back to that mall. Ever. Yeah, and I'm not trying to be bad. I'm not trying to. This is coming from years of experience and dealing with crap like this. You will not go back to work there. You will never be happy. It's going to get worse. Leave.
So what's Mom going to do now after this situation? What's your voice going to do?
Sue my crappy bosses, please. Give me more money.
Well, I'm going to look into a lawyer. Some of the problems that I've had in the past about this mall has caused us a lot of grief. When we first moved here, it was right around Christmas time, and Jenny was very little. And I had taken her to the mall, and I had I'll say mentally challenged person approached me and asked me for money, said he was hungry. And I'm not going to, I'm a nice person. I gave him the change that I had. And when I went to give him the change, he tried to grope me and I pushed him away. And he followed us out of the mall. I ended, everybody called the police and the security and everybody came running and whatever. And we went to the court. and he only remembered that's the pretty lady from the mall. He did not remember anything that happened. He didn't know why I was there. He didn't know why he was there. And I said to the court, I said, instead of throwing him in jail, can't you like put him in a psychiatric, lockdown and do tests and medicine and find out what's wrong and help this man instead of just throwing him in a cage? And they said, well, this is the system and the system is broken.
Oh yeah. You cannot. You know what? There was actually a news agency that went undercover as a drug addict, and instead of trying to put her in a recovery home or get her help, they gave her more drugs and drug paraphernalia.
Yep.
They did the exact opposite of what you should do.
Yep.
But no, contact the NRA for a lawyer for the second for infringing on the Second Amendment. You need to go talk to your district attorneys. And then you need to find what's the one I'm looking for? And I think it's just a civilian side lawyer, because emotional damages are still going to pay out about $15,000. You've got 2 kids, $30,000.
Yeah. Yeah.
And everybody else for y'all, let everybody that was there know they need to be going after that mall.
Yeah, for real.
Well, it was weird because after I had done my video, there was a woman standing in front of me and she was shaking her head yes, because a lot of these people, they don't understand that gun-free zones are dangerous. And so I went for a walk because I was a little curious, and she had already been secured, so I knew she was okay. And I went for a walk, and one of the safety officers was standing over there, and they said, "Oh my God, this was so scary." And I said, "Well, it was scary because it's a no-gun zone. It's a no-gun zone. You can't have guns. If you're a citizen, you can't bring your guns in there."
So the security officer said that was scary?
Yeah. And so, when I started to talk about, gun-free zones, he was like, "You know what we're talking about." And I said, voting is a big part of that, because people vote on laws, people vote on, all kinds of things, in the system. And there's people are clueless. They don't understand that you have a right to. I mean, I was in there one day and they walked up to me and they said, "Ma'am, do you have a license or a permit for that?" I said, "I have both, and I have my training card." And they said, "Well, we're going to need to see those." And I showed them everything. Oh. And they said, "Well, if you want to stay in the mall, you're going to have to walk out and you're going to have to secure that in your car." And I said, "Well, the hell I will. Why would I do that? I am here with my 2 daughters. Why would I do that? It's Christmas time. People are getting mugged all over the place. Why would I do that?" And they said, "Well, you're not allowed back into the mall if you do not walk out of the mall right now and secure your weapon." And I said, "So let me get this straight, just for the record. I just want to be clear. If I'm on one side of the mall and 5 of you or 6 of you are on the other side of the mall taking care of a problem, and someone is trying to run off with my 5-year-old, I'm supposed to wait until you come to help me? I don't think so."
Which was the case of this exact
thing. And they wonder why Amazon is so popular right now. So now Carl gets to hear me go on that same old tangent once again that I feared for my life. I'm so certain he is tired of hearing this shit.
I know it.
Oh, God, that is the most disgusting excuse I ever hear from security and law enforcement. I feared for my life. If you go to your job and you fear for your life every single day, quit your job. Yes, Carl, I know you asked. I'm trying. Quit your job, because obviously this isn't for you. I can't stand you using "I feared for my life" so you shot my dog. I got a boxer who's half retarded and 2 of the brain cells are doing the tango in his tail. So whatever else is left in there is just focusing on food and breathing. That's it. But when he sees new people, he wants attention from the new people. You shoot my dog, I'm shooting you.
Right.
But he is happy. You got afraid because he's a dog. He's a boxer. He's dumb. Pet him, he'll calm down in 30 minutes. I promise. But if you go to your job and you think, "Oh, there was a shooting, I'm scared," you are hired to stop that crap. You are there to be a preventative measure in order to prevent these issues from happening. This is the whole argument
I actually thought about getting a job there so I could be closer to her.
that's my whole argument with hiring security officers for schools. Instead of dropping billions and trillions of dollars on foreign countries and foreign aid, we drop, you pay Marine and Army veterans to go protect kids. One person steps in that building that shouldn't be there. There is not a thing on this planet that will stop that Marine from going full ape.
Cameron, it's really weird that you say that, because I was running for county commissioner out here. I was the new girl. And one of the things that was a very big question is we had a couple of incidences out here in the school where kids were trying to get in with backpacks that were not actually enrolled in this school any further,
Or
to
had
blow
gotten
them up,
expelled.
or had gotten expelled, and it became a very big issue. And 2 of our schools actually went on actual lockdown, and my son was in one of them. So of course, again, that presented an issue. And so one of the things that I ran on was, let's take some of these veterans that can pass a background check, that can pass, whatever type of mental or emotional testing they need or whatever. And if they come out perfect on the other side, let's arm them in regular clothes and put them in the school system, because there's no way they're going to get past these folks. There's no way.
No.
Do you know that they practically hung me in the backyard, told me that was the most ridiculous and dangerous idea? And when the election was over and I was only down a couple of 100 points that I lost, that's the first thing they did. That's the first thing they did.
So I'll tell you, you'll have to be a little more lenient on the psych evaluations. Everybody that goes in the military is coming out with something: PTSD, anxiety, depression, something. But is it treated? Is it tolerable? Is it manageable? Are you coping with it? How are you dealing? And then you have them set up on regular evaluations. Yep. We're going to do a semi-annual or a quarterly review of your mental health.
They did not want to do that. They did not want to do anything that I requested until after the election, and then it was done.
But I guarantee you put veterans in a school, and I wouldn't say put them in civilian clothes. No. That's too boring for them. Let them wear hey, you want to wear a tack vest? You want to wear a plate carrier? Do you want to bring your own? I can bring my own.
Well, you look at what North Carolina just said they was going to arm teachers in the schools now.
Yeah, and that was a hot topic out here too, because they put that into the same realm of what we're talking about now.
Does the librarian get a
What about the kids that have special needs? What about the kids that can take it from you? If you're well trained, there isn't a student in that school that should be able to take your firearm from you.
No.
Always keep a distance. And the special needs thing, I did special needs for 3 years. I worked with special needs for 3 years for
with them as well.
And some of them are the nicest, kindest, booger, slobbering people.
Yes.
Some of them are a handful. Obviously, you're not going to put an armed teacher in that classroom alone. You need to have a mediator. Oh, there's problem children. Yeah, there's problem children. There's kids that are. I was a big kid. I was so big in high school. I was the biggest guy. Whether it was by height or weight, I had the power. I could outlift I was a walking refrigerator in high school. And I had an issue with one of the students there, and they pulled me in the office and said, "Look, we know how you feel. We know you've got a temper. I've always had a problem with my anger. I know it. But I've been able to get it under control over the past 7 years." But they pulled me inside and said, "Look, you're so big. If you do anything, we can only call the cops on you. Like, you can't put hands on this kid." As I got dismissed, this kid walked out. My principal went back in her office before she could see what I was about to do, because she knew what I was about to do. And I put hands on the kid. It's a long, long story. And that dude was, let me phrase it this way. If he's not, he's probably in a psych ward or prison at this point in time.
Right.
He's that guy.
So another question is, what did Dad say about all this?
When the shooting was actually still happening, and after I hung up with my mom, my dad instantly called me right after.
I told him, call her until I get there.
My dad has been in the military for like around
33 years.
No,
34 years.
36, 37 years. Yeah, he was a Marine for a couple years, and then he joined Army and started doing jump master, stuff.
He's cross coloring. Yeah, Because when you were saying 30s, I was like, there's very few people, and when you said he was cross coloring, that cleared it up a little bit.
Yeah, so he called me and he was like, "Are you okay? You know, I'm very proud of you. You stayed somewhat calm. Just remember to, keep low right now. Be safe. Don't put yourself out there." He was basically just pep talking me as if it was like something to just keep my mind away from it. He was like, "I got Dungeons and Dragons stuff when you get home." He was like trying to resurface memories just so I didn't think about other things.
He's trying to distract you because usually after a situation like that, the natural effect on people is for normal people is to go into a state of shock.
Yeah.
And it basically shuts your body down. It's a mass panic attack. You freak out. Nothing can calm you down. You have to work through it. So he did his best to prevent you from going into a state of shock and keeping you down to earth.
She didn't really crash and burn until she got in the car and we were driving home. And then I started to see her unravel a little bit, and then I knew that's when she was.
When it hit.
Reality was really setting that, and that's why I tell people get pissed.
Yeah,
you get angry. It is harder to get out of it. You can focus your rage on something.
Well, I was angry because at 17, working in a pizza place, I hated this for her. I hated this for her that she just wanted to go to work and, get a paycheck and, and then she had to deal with this kind of crap. And
so when you turn 18, check out Lowe's.
Yep.
It's a long job. It's a lot of weird hours. It's hard work, but it's good pay. And it's a reliable job. I worked there for a couple of years. They'll take care of you for a while. So that's my best tip. Because I did the same 17. I tried to apply. I got denied. 18, I went and reapplied. Oh, yeah, you're old enough. Okay.
And the stories that came out on this shooting and everything, when we talked earlier, I was looking it up. And I asked her, which mall, and we got all that. And I was reading the news. It said nobody was injured. But you found out that wasn't true.
People were injured.
When he was in the food court and the guy was popping off shots, it was almost as if an old lady was screaming because the bullet, it didn't fully go in her, it didn't go through her, but it sliced basically when he shot it.
Oh, so graze wound. That's one of the best ones you can get. She's gonna be fine.
She's fine, but there was
couple like, oh, nothing really happened. There was just a shooting there.
And
see, and this
mall, 2 people detained.
This mall has been shot up before.
Yes,
this isn't the first rodeo with this mall.
No,
this mall has had a total of 4 shootings between 2024 and 2020 and 2022.
And you still decided to work here.
And here's the thing about Molly. Here's the thing.
She wants a job and she wants that money. I understand that.
Underdog. She is the underdog. Her thing is, this is my bread and butter. This is my job. This is my school stuff. This is my future. Right now, this is what I'm doing and this is my paycheck. And she will not allow anything to get in the way of her paycheck. And so she's very strong-headed about that, which is commendable. But even I said to her, and her best friends and myself and her dad, and we've said, please quit. And the people at this job, they don't understand this because the owner's wife said, well, I understand that you want to quit, but this is going to happen everywhere you work. So you should probably come back to work. And I sit here and I'm like, these people just don't want any part of me right now. Because
and honestly, it could happen anywhere, but the chances of it being in a mall that's a gun-free zone is way higher than a regular zone. It's just somebody who comes in and carries.
Yeah. Right, because they know nobody else is carrying a gun in there.
98 or 89% of the shootings that happen in gun-free zones. So the mass majority of these shootings are people going to places where they expect nobody else to carry.
Right.
And then they're going to come across old Joe Bob over here that has pent-up aggression and an arsenal enough to take over a third world country and find out that gun-free zone meant absolutely nothing to somebody that day.
Right. And even a couple of years ago, in 2021, I was actually working at a different place in the mall because I worked at a total of 3. I worked at a shoe place. And while it was around 9:30 at night, and I got off at 10:30 because of summer hours. the mall got raided and locked down because protesters from a certain protest were running in. And again, I didn't have any memo because the police, the security, nobody was there.
Hey, Mom, send her down to Texas. I'll fix that mentality where I have to work and get her in the mentality I like to work. But if I see enough crap, I'm just going to leave. I'll get that instilled in her real quick. I promise.
Yeah, she's definitely stubborn when it comes to that. But her and I spent the day together and we talked about things. And
that's good.
And I said you have to come to a point where if it's your safety or your paycheck, your safety has to come first.
Exactly.
And that doesn't matter where you work, where you are, who you know. If your safety is being threatened, then you need to go.
It's not so much your safety as your safety, your mental and emotional well-being as well. Take all three of those into consideration. And if you don't quit, I'm going to drive up there and drag you out of the mall.
I'll pay to see that.
You might, hey, cover my gas money. I'll be there tomorrow. Come on, let's go. I need to work. You're coming to work. I got a job in Texas for you.
Right.
You're going to check people in at the front.
Yeah.
They'll be safe as can be. I promise. There's a lot of people here with pent up. You'll get your paycheck. I promise. But
So
I'm not going to have Mom having a heart attack because you won't quit.
And the thing with like the mall is that there's usually a lot of stuff that happens there anyways. And my high school is just as worse. So I feel like I'm around it. I feel like I'm around it all the time. So it doesn't necessarily really bother me. I've heard gunshots all the time. I lived in New York. I lived on a military base. There's a lot of shit that would happen anyways. So it didn't really bother me that I heard gunshots.
Hey, I got told I can't cuss. You can't cuss.
I just told her you can't cuss.
So it got to a point where it was like, where do I, and I thought about it today, where do I fall in? When will I officially be done enough to actually quit? And starting Monday, I will not be showing up. Like, they think I'm coming in on Monday, I will not be going. They will be handing me my money, and that will be the last of it, and I will go somewhere.
Were you scheduled to work? Were you scheduled to work any this weekend?
She was supposed to schedule the whole
I was supposed to work Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Yeah. But I told them I'm not coming, and there's nothing you can do about it. And I don't care if you try to drag me. I don't care whatever you want to do. You can fire me right here. Firing me, it doesn't matter to me. Because I can just leave whenever I want to. So if it really means that much to you to get the last word of, you're fired, you can go ahead and do it. It really doesn't bother me.
It just took a shooting to get you to do this.
Now, but has the police or anybody talked to you to see what you saw? Because you was only 10 feet away from them.
And if you look at the video that I shot, there was an officer not even 7 feet from me, and he just stood there and watched myself and my two daughters hug, cry, lose it for a minute, and then I walked right past him. Not one person came up to us, asked us is everything okay? Do you work here? There was no interaction from law enforcement at all.
And even when I tried to talk to security when I was still inside, I tried to get a hold of security, like one of the people I knew, and I was like, hey, are y'all gonna like come over here so I can tell you what I saw? And they're like, from what we know, it was just outside. Okay, but what I'm telling you is that I saw it on the inside. How would that person be injured?
You need to find a really good
guy.
You need to find a really good lawyer because you need to go after the mall, the company, and the police department.
Yeah,
you've got a lot of cans of ass whooping to hand out right there. I promise.
Dude, I'm very proud of you.
Thank you.
Your mom and you earlier when we talked and everything. What you went through at your age, I know a lot of kids your age around this area. They would be home curled up in a ball right now.
Right.
And here you are listening to some
well-educated young woman, and I am so proud of you.
Yeah.
But we're gonna. Well, our time's up on this show.
I have a gun failed.
Okay, he's got a gun. You got to stick around for this and our giveaway.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Just because we still have time before Wally's show, we can run.
I know, but
yes, my show doesn't start till 10 o'clock Eastern now.
So, What not to do with a gun. This one, Carl, I hope you got to watch this one because you can imagine my frustrations when she started. Yeah. This person has.
We're going to slide the hammer back with the finger on the trigger.
Yo,
Yeah, the little booger hook right there is on that trigger.
Keep your booger hook off the bang button. This person obviously has no idea what they're doing with a firearm.
Nope.
So let's just watch how this unfolds.
Let's watch.
Racking from the front, hand covering the barrel, right by her head.
And there's a kid right there.
Yeah.
Good observation.
You're an idiot. What in the hell?
She can't be more than about 15 herself.
Oh my god.
Look at this.
Hand in front of the barrel, thinking she's big.
And I mean, it grazed her because she's got blood. You could see it. Look.
It grazed her.
Ridiculous.
Good luck explaining that to your mom.
Right?
When there's a hole in the ceiling.
Hopefully they weren't in a bottom apartment.
Yeah. Just shot right through the ceiling.
But I also have one more bit of good news to put out before we wrap.
Okay.
Oh, I'm so happy I saw this. I'm so happy. So Texas had another gun buyback program. It's Texas. Good luck. Well, they did get some. They got 62 from one individual. Every single one of them was 3D printed. Cost about $3 to make each gun. 62 guns for a $50 gift card.
For each one.
So he made $47 per firearm. So congratulations, your gun buyback program.
He got $3,000 and some dollars in gift cards for 62.
Wow.
I'm sorry, the government can't pass it.
And they took them.
Yeah, they have to. It's no questions asked thing. They have to. If it functions, they have to buy it.
Yeah,
I can go get piping and make a shotgun out of piping and sell it and get my $50.
Did you see where it was at, Cameron?
No, I didn't.
You want me to tell you?
Yes, I do.
Houston, Texas.
Why didn't you call me when this was happening? There were boxes I could have raided. I'd have been coming home with another 150 guns. What the hell? Yeah, some jackpot.
It was your Houston Police Department that did that
buyout.
buyout.
Up and loading up my truck. What are you doing? I'm properly disposing of them.
Did you see that on Bon Jovi's show?
Who was? Yeah.
Yeah. It says Houston, Texas.
Oh, God.
When he sits there and goes, "Oh, thank you guys. You really did a great job."
Oh, yeah. Perfect. Bravo. I'm sorry. The government can't pass its own federal background check. What means you can't buy back what you never actually owned. You're also trying to get permissions to access all people's checking account. So, which is illegal. You've been pushing your agents to go and get all registries for concealed carry permits. Illegal. So no, I'm not going to sell you a thing. The only thing I'm going to sell you is the rounds, one by one, coming in hot. That's it. That's it.
We
that's 50 cents. That's about 38. That's $2.
I knew when he started talking about that, he didn't know what city it was in.
Yeah, because he would have picked up everything. I'd have been the one dude. Oh, yeah, we're buying guns back. No. I'm here to dispose of the guns for you. Did they not call you?
And didn't
Don't worry about it. I'm going to load it up.
He was going to get that $3,000 and go buy more 3D stuff to make more guns at $3 a piece.
Oh, he's going to get
another buyout program.
Or he's going to buy himself another gun.
Yeah.
He's going to buy him a real gun. Oh, but.
Welcome to the chaos.
Welcome to the Second Amendment Ranch. But anyway, we're going to do our giveaway right now.
Yep.
So everybody that's over here that's commented in our chat over here is entered in it. So here we go. Let's see who wins this one tonight. Lorna
Lorna.
won it.
Oh, Lorna from earlier.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
So Lorna's got it coming.
Congratulations.
And she's won 2 or 3.
Yeah. So yeah,
But,
I'm not normal, and Carl's senile, and Wally's quiet and shy
I
until he
know
gets to his
I
game.
know it.
So
But-
nothing here is ever.
Yeah, sorry, I am the
actually-
quiet one on this show. I just kind of absorb a lot of the
Well,
chaos stuff because I can't watch my mouth.
and that's one of the reasons why we really enjoy getting a lot of questions and interaction from people and asking, what would you recommend for a gun for me? What type should I be looking for? What's an all-purpose gun? And I've beat that one to death. There's no such thing. But getting into those conversations and details for people is very entertaining, and I'm very passionate about training these people on, because the whole reason the ranch came to fruition is I have had multiple experiences with people breaking blue, bad finger control, bad barrel control, not knowing how to field strip their gun, or they buy a gun and it sits in the closet for 5 years before they even touch the thing. And, my biggest agitation, I feared for my life. If you're fearing for your, we lost. So my biggest explanation for this, we lost a reactor underway. I was on submarines. We were draining the battery so fast, we had to rig for black, which has never been done before. You have to rig everything. There's no air conditioning. There's no lighting. There's nothing. It's just dead. The engine room was 124 degrees, 5 degrees away from being required to move ammunition. And I was pissed. You could tell who was here and who wasn't here, because you're looking at these guys that are just agitated, ripping components apart, trying to figure out what's going on, making things work. And then you can see everybody else. We're going to die. We're going to go to crush depth. Bro, shut up. Let me work. You can't handle it. Go home. Like, there's your option. Go out a torpedo or something. Leave. Don't be here. And you knew who was going to handle this because it was easy to tell. If you fear for we had 5 dryer fires that same patrol. Every single one of them was out before we actually got the alarm through, because my division slept next to the things and we all showed up naked. Yeah, well, in our boxers, but we fought the fire, put it out, went back to bed. Hey, fire's out. Y'all deal with the aftermath. What? Yeah, we're going back to bed. No. You need to help us clean up. No, that's only for drills. The fire's dealt with. We're going back to bed. So if you fear for your life, you're going to fail every single time. You thinking, I'm going to die today. How about this thought? Man, I'm going to be pissed if I die today. You really want to play this game? Is this really going to... All right. Who's catching hands? We're going to solve the problem. And if it comes down to it, if I can train people to either be agitated or calm, you will function that much better. If you can't get angry, go blank. Just empty everything. All right, let's go back to training. All right, I'm doing my sweeps, checks. Barrel stays in line of sight with me. Okay, moving, contact, drop. It's not hard. It's not. And if you think, oh, I'm going to die, well, yeah, there's always, you can get killed by it. You're actually more likely to get killed by a cow than a shark. Do you think there's a lot of people afraid of cows? Yeah, probably. You think I'm afraid of one? Hell no, that thing's going on a grill soon. Don't get in these mindsets where you're going to be afraid. Oh, I'm going to die. How about get angry? How about just deal with it? How about you signed up for this? You signed and swore an oath to protect people, and you are letting that go because you feared for your life. Okay, so did they. And they didn't have the means to stop it like you do. So instead of handling a situation and stopping something from escalating, you just let it go. Now how many people are suffering because of it? All because you feared for your life. You failed to follow through with your training. The Uvalde, we're getting more and more footage of people that are actually trying to react and senior commanders telling them don't. I'm sorry, you tell me don't. I don't care what rank you are. You get around, and then that guy's getting around. My training, my oath told me, you stop that. Not him, that. So that, in infuriates me every time. I love watching these cop stoppers and watchers, First Amendment auditors, Second Amendment auditors, because you find real quick watching these guys, none of the cops are going to do a thing for you. Not one. They are all greedy, self-entitled little bullies. That's
Right.
it. So put the power back in the people's hands. Get the training you need, and it's also the only formal training you can receive is whether you're military or a police officer. I've looked into it, and in Houston area, there's a facility that offers tactical training only for enlisted and police officers. What good does that? They have to do this regularly. Why can't we give this to everybody? Why is this monopolized? Why can't we teach people how to sweep their houses? Why can't we tell them how to check a room? Why? Oh, because that makes them dangerous. Well, no kidding. Of course it makes them dangerous, but they're only dangerous to people that are going against them. If you think they're dangerous, obviously you plan on going against them at some point in time. So if you want to play that game, I'm going to make everybody as absolutely as dangerous as I possibly can. That's why I speak out so much for the Special Forces guys on here, the Marine, anybody that's gone through combat zone, been in the shit, teach your lessons to everybody you possibly can. I know it's going to suck. I know it can be a PTSD trigger, but you show them how to handle themselves. You bettered how many more people with just a little bit of training? Couple hours here and there a week. What are they going to do when something actually hits the fan? They're going to be calm, cool, collected, or pissed, not afraid. But that is our time.
Right. Melissa, Molly, I want to thank you both for coming on the show tonight.
Thank you so much
Of
for having
course.
us.
Thank you for having us.
Anytime, just contact me on the Bill of Rights if you got something to say. But I know you're going to be on the girls' show Tuesday night.
Yes.
Never
Yeah.
Down Conservative View. Plus, I know you're going to be on one of our other shows with one of the other stories we talked about earlier today. So we'll discuss that at another time. But again, I want to thank you both for joining the Second Amendment Ranch. And Molly, again, hats off to you. I am so proud of you, young lady.
Hey, when you get your first gun, you show us.
That's right. You come on the show and say, I'm 18 years old. Look what I get to carry now.
Mm-hmm. That way I can be that much more proud.
Or you can just come gun shopping with me once we eventually figure it out.
I mean, if you want to do gun shopping, just come down. I've got options that you can look at here. You don't have to go to a gun store. I've got my own.
Oh, yeah. He does.
Oh, as Carl's the person.
Yeah.
Hey, man, he actually flew down a couple months back. You want to see them all? Yep.
And he kept coming out with them. And I'm looking at one and he's coming out with more. And I said, okay, are we empty yet?
Nope, not yet.
Not yet. Then the big ones came out. So, yeah, if you want to know anything about the newer weapons and different weapons coming around, Cameron's.
And I will check out the NRA lawyers. I'll get into that this weekend.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Let us
Thank
know how
you.
that goes. We look forward to a follow-up interview.
Okay. We'll talk to you all later. Okay.
Got
Good evening. Bye.
Y'all take it easy. All right, ladies and gentlemen.
So what'd you think? Those two ladies there. I mean,
she handled it the best she could for that situation with her age. I'm very impressed with how she dealt with it. She knew what to do. Stay low, stay quiet, get out of there.
But I knew nobody was reporting anything on this story of the shooting. The news even got it wrong.
I mean,
So
even
Barbara
in the fact
contacted me and we had a meeting, I went, oh, this is the perfect place for him to come on to get this out. Because there again, Molly's 10 feet away from the shooter and looked at him. He looked at her. But yet, did a police officer take a report?
No, and they don't have to, which is ridiculous. I find that absolutely mind-blowing that you witnessing a mother and a child sitting there losing it. Man, they must have been close. Let's figure this out. So I'm 100% certain Uvalde was an inside staged job, trying to push, because every time we go around, we see this political agenda. We want to take away guns. What happens as soon as they start pushing this? We start seeing, and it's not so much that there are more mass shootings, it's that they are reporting actively on these mass shootings. They are beating the devil out of every single media is going to cover it. And because it was only 2 people, it doesn't classify as a mass shooting. No. So they don't want to cover the story because only 2 people. It's got to be 4 or more. That makes it a mass shooting.
And it wasn't
2, it's not
an assault. It wasn't an assault weapon. It was a handgun.
It wasn't an AR. Well, they've been pushing for the semi-automatic pistols as well, but they are actively going against the AR. And I mean, the AR is nothing. It is a it's just like every other rifle out there. It's a semi-automatic caliber. It's nothing special. I have things that can do way more cool crap than an AR can. I promise. Right. I mean, hell, here's one of them.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, it sounds like all the police were interested in when they got there. Go in. Let's see the video real quick. We got to see who's leaving. They didn't sound like they interviewed hardly anybody and stuff while this was going on to get a description.
No, they didn't want one because they want him to go and try again.
Mm-hmm.
They are setting this guy up for success. Go through, learn how to aim and hit 4 or more people so we can make this into a bad thing. Or the suspect was African American, and then they're going to be like, "Oh well, race thing." They're going to throw that.
I haven't seen anything on the 2 that they got in custody right now and stuff, but
I don't care what race you are. You shoot somebody. Hey, this guy shot somebody. You need to report it. It's. I feel for him, and she did perfect. For what civilians are trained, absolutely perfect.
Well, you have to remember her dad's in the military too.
Yeah, so that she does have a little bit of a leg up on other people.
Yeah, but still, she kept a cool head. Look at how many kids would have freaked out,
and because of that, how many kids could have died because of it. If you stay calm and quiet and you just move with a purpose, mind you. The fact that she said there was 4 or 5 entrances, exits. That's a mall that size.
4 entrances and only 5 security.
Yeah, 4 inches, 5 security. A mall, those buildings, because of their sizes, have to have extra emergency exits. Yeah. So it doesn't even sound like this mall was set up to code in the first place, because even if something happens, there's back tunnels and halls. If they can get to one of those, they can walk out and not have a worry of the doors locked behind them. You hear gunshots behind you, now you got to book it because he's actually after you. But that's not usually the case.
They did the smart thing. Her and the manager got on the floor, and then they all crawled back. They hit that button to pull that chain gang down. At least they couldn't get back in there. Now they could shoot through it, but they couldn't get in there.
That's why I wanted to talk about cover and concealment for a second, because concealment only masks your presence. If they know you're there, which is what blows. Somebody hides in the bathroom, lay down in the bathtub. Yeah, that's usually good for most people, but there is the option that they may start aiming low.
Right.
It's not. They want to go for body height, but concealment is not gonna, drywall a door. It's not really gonna.
No, she did the smart thing, like she said. She army crawled, and the first thing she got behind was one of the big refrigerator freezers in there.
That's still only cover.
That's good cover.
That's great cover. Don't get me wrong. That's great cover. So bravo, and it's not like you're gonna have the options of that was great concealment. Excuse me, but there's not always the option of having actual cover everywhere. So knowing your buildings is very any job you ever go to, even the build, one of my old I call it a bad habit. It's not really a bad habit. They say veterans always have a back to the door or they're facing the exit. Like, yeah, if there's one entrance, one exit, I want to have my back to a wall and watch who's coming through because I'm starting to gauge people as soon as they walk in. If I've got a door behind me, but it's an emergency exit and I've got the entrance, I want my back to the emergency exit. I want eyes on the door. Because now I know my way out and I can see who's coming in. I see a problem, I'm gone. Bye.
Right.
So it's a bad habit, but it's not a bad habit. So getting into those habits and getting into that situational awareness and paying attention to your surroundings. Don't just go. I could tell Carl and Wally right here the exact layout of my building right now. Carl's been there and he'll be like, yeah, nope, that's exactly it. So knowing and being able to spit that out. All right, here's my exits. Here's my entry points. This is where I'm going to go. If this goes down, this is what I'm going to do. They run drills on us, but they are terrible drills. I run more scenarios in my head at work than my company will ever do to anybody. Because we actually had a situation where we were worried about an active shooter. We've had thieves come. We've had fires. Well, we have the potential for fires. We've had circuit breakers trip. There's always something that can go wrong. Knowing how to deal with these situations. And they always get pissy with me. You shouldn't have done that. Why? Well, you're not supposed to just drag somebody out. Were you going to go save them in an actual burning building? No. Were you? No. How about you? I might have, depending on the fires. I did.
Well, the only thing I can say is I hope the younger sister is strong as Molly is. Do you imagine that phone call when it came in? Somebody's shooting at the mall and you hear in the background, bam, 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 get mom. And then mom getting on the phone. Kudos to her because here your daughter's calling you, come and get me. There's a shooting here and everything. And then they got to drive. Luckily, they didn't get in a wreck because it had to be floored.
Oh, yeah.
I would have been floored, flashers on, hauling ass.
Yep. Screw the flashers, just floor it.
Yep. Yeah. Well, I'm trying to warn people at intersections because I'm not stopping.
No, I am too. I'm
hitting the
horn, flashers, you name it. Used to when I was on the fire department, I had the blue light. If I had to go anywhere else, guess what? It was on. But it's situations like that, folks. This can happen anywhere, anytime. Hey,
they need a lawyer. They need a great lawyer because she needs to sue her company, that mall, the police, and the security guards. Not the security company, because usually those malls contract outside. They hired security guards that were inefficient. If she does that, if she sues every single one of those entities, you know how much attention that's going to bring to this case?
Yep.
And I'm not saying it just go for just go for the money. The money's okay, great, but it's your kids are going to sit with that for the rest of their lives. You cannot. There is not enough money on this planet.
You got to go to change it. You got to change what there is down there.
Exactly. So you sue even if you don't win. How much more attention did this get? How much more did you bring it over here? How much more attention did it get here? How about here? How about here? You sue the security, the mall, that company, and the police. You sued 4 entities. That's a lot of media.
You sue the mall. I can tell you what their first thing is going to be. They'll say, will you drop a lawsuit if we take the gun-free zone out? That's exactly what they'll offer.
And that's, if they do, you get that in writing with a contract stating you can never post it again.
And have it put at the city that way too. That this mall will never be a gun-free zone.
Exactly. You may have not gotten a payout, but how many people did you save?
You probably saved a lot of lives in the future.
Exactly. You can't get greedy. You can get greedy, but don't be all about the money for this. Be open to these wins. It's it's a little win. No, that's a huge win. That's a massive win. You got rid of a worthless gun-free zone.
Because, like I said, there's several malls in Fayetteville, what they said. All of them are gun-free zones. The first one that goes takes that out in a lawsuit,
Other ones are gonna
the
follow.
others are going to fall in before a lawsuit comes.
Exactly.
And there, you just tackled Big Brother in your town, and it'll spread out to other communities.
You just proved guns saved lives.
Yeah.
Right there. Right. We argue that all the time on this show. Guns save lives. Look at the statistics if you can find them. Because we used to be able to find them easy. Now you can't.
Perfect example. If she'd been 18 years old and carrying, right? When he looked at her, like she said, with the gun, but yet he turned around to look outside, that gun could have came out and bam.
Game
Took his
over.
ass right
Done.
down. That may have saved the lady from getting grazed by the bullet.
Yep.
We don't know.
Oh,
But
yeah.
it could have saved it. Luckily, they didn't hit nobody out in the parking lot because they were shooting out there too.
Yeah. So you can't imagine that they probably ran because they ran out of ammo. But you get that win, and that's why you've got to instill to security companies hire competent people. And that's not so much that they know how to look for petty theft, which is great. But if you have a situation where somebody's coming to shoot up the mall, is he really going to play this game? Hey, Tommy, you still on the roof? Yeah, we got a guy coming in the front with an AR. Ooh, really? Yeah, you want to put him down real quick? I don't want to deal with him. Really? Just take the shot.
Just do it.
Yes!
Well,
yes!
perfect
Today's the day!
I'll give you a perfect example. Imagine the 5 security people in there if they'd been veterans.
Oh,
When that first gunshot or the
They
first
would've
one
went
came,
instant
that
mode,
somebody
go towards
came in
it.
with a mask on, they would have been at full run to that area.
depending on what branch and how disgruntled they are, it would have been a lot worse.
Yeah.
Not for the people in there. No. The people in there would have been fucking terrified. Damn it, I wasted my one. They would have been absolutely terrified about what was
It
happening.
would have been handled completely different.
Because no. There's a perfect example of this. There's actually a situation like this. This is a no shit real life story. There was an automotive company owned and operated by nothing but veterans. Nothing but veterans. A dude broke in, pulled a gun, and said, "Give me everything." They locked the door on him. They locked him in the company with the veterans.
Yeah.
The owner shouted, "What makes the grass grow?" And all you heard through the whole company is blood. Blood makes the grass grow. The dude put his gun down and sat on his butt in front of the door and waited for the cops.
Yeah.
That's what happened. That's what would have happened at that mall. The mall would have been locked down. That dude would have been stuck in a maze filled with crazy guys like me. That everybody in there is going to need counseling for what they did to the intruder.
That's why you don't hire him over there. Wrong way.
Right here.
For a mall.
Because
We'd add a new name to Mall Cop. Crazy Mall Cop.
Mm-hmm. Sporting goods. I'm going to sodomize this guy with a baseball bat.
All he's got to do is walk out. His size would scare half of them anyway.
Yeah, that's what we're going to be doing. Silver bullet, baseball bat. Football looks fun today. Whoop! Right up the poop chute. There's going to be so much counseling needed for everybody in the mall. And that's the best part because they're going to, well, did the intruder come after you? No, we're fine. Physically, but that mental image, a human body should never be able to do that. What kind of security did they hire? Marines. Oh.
That poor soul.
Barbara said he was targeting somebody in there, and then Lorna put on there he was part of a gang.
Yeah, potentially gang related.
Yeah, so we'll have to check that out. But anyway, what are you two doing on your show later?
Well, Wally wants to get an intro set up.
Yes.
So
I'm hoping in time I can get an intro recorded, ready to go, to have a little different reaction with some
Wally
viewers.
wants to continue working on breeding, but breeding is very boring and daunting.
I don't plan on.
Yeah, Carl,
breeding.
Breeding.
You can breed your
Yeah,
dinos.
people, you do understand this is a game they're playing.
Hopefully.
So no, I'm thinking
hope
we'll
they
find something
understand
very
that.
exciting, like using our long neck rifles as a tool instead of the wyverns.
Oh God.
And I'm thinking Giga.
I'll be there in a little while.
So I've been pushing. We need to get the farm set up. So there's a couple.
I do plan on doing that tonight.
There's a couple educational things we do want to show y'all in how to benefit for the game. But it sounds like every single episode we're going to be doing something not safe.
Okay.
So, and that's where, and again, ladies and gentlemen, the free stupidity is where Wally shines. So I encourage you. He's a little gun shy here. He is a whole different entity when you watch him there. So come check him out.
And I proved it to Carl on last week's show.
He's doing better. Let me tell you, he's doing a lot better.
So
he
come
doesn't
support
sit
him
down there like a bump on the log.
Yeah, come support him. Come check it out.
Gaming is his niche.
Yeah,
that's what he does.
It may be entertaining for you. We always usually try and throw something. Like last week, I got told I had to go tame a T-Rex with a bow and arrow, and I got it. So odds are we're probably going to continue that trend and see how much dangerous crap we can, and we'll let you know what we're doing. If we're abusing commands, we'll let you know. This is gameplay. This is for y'all to laugh and watch Cameron run like a maniac. We'll let you know. I promise. But come and check it out. Support Wally. Share it out to your friends. If they like gaming, you never know. You may be allowed to come and join us.
Yeah. It starts here in about an hour.
I already know if Don's still out there. I was talking to him throughout the week, trying to get him an actual gaming PC built.
Still working on it, huh? I was hoping he had it.
I'll talk about that off air.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. Don, jump in Discord for us.
Did you get it straightened out with your little ghost down beside you?
Oh, Dad?
Yeah.
Oh,
he's gone this weekend, man. So I ain't got to worry about that little ghost coming in.
That was so hilarious. I'm
God, I forgot Wally's drinking tonight.
Here's his dad. It's a little ghost popping in and out.
Oh God!
Yes, I am drinking tonight, Cameron.
Time out. I'm going to warn everybody right now. Wally's drinking tonight, so he's going to be a whole different monster.
Yep. Check.
I'm probably going to go need to grab a couple 6-packs myself.
So
he's so hard to handle when he's drunk.
We got to get off here. I got stuff to do.
I definitely appreciate. They were great guests.
Yes, I am
perfect.
I am 100% proud of that little girl standing up and
bravo to
doing
her.
The right thing and not freezing in this situation.
And depending on how the next couple months go, I might be able to help her out get a gun. We'll see. That might be my gift to her. It's always
if I get another one, she will only have to drive 3 hours, and I will gladly just give her one free.
But we'll see how that plays out. If they continue to check us out, if they want to keep in touch and everything like that, that's on them. We're here for y'all. So we're gonna look forward to supporting you. And even Lorna wants to give you the win for the night. If you didn't read that, Lorna wants to have you send them the
the flag.
Flag.
Yeah, I'll get Melissa to give me her address.
So I'm curious to see. I definitely want to do a follow-up interview in probably 6 months.
I'm probably going to do one sooner than that. I want to find out if she quits and what the company said.
Well, hopefully, if she does not quit, if she goes to work Monday,
I'm driving over there.
She's got 2 people that are be more than happy to put that 2 weeks in.
I got a funny feeling if she goes to work Monday, Mom's going to be sitting there in the pizza shop with a gun. Probably. I guarantee you. And let that try to take from that mama bear.
So I
She
look forward-
looks scary, man.
I want to see the follow up if she quits or not, but I want to see I want to see if she's pushing to sue, how the cases are going, what the malls, because I don't care if the mall pays out, that no longer needs, gun free zones are worthless. I
Yes.
really want to see that go away. But that's, we didn't get many questions from the guests tonight, which actually worked out with having guest hosts. But y'all remember, the more y'all ask during the shows when we don't have guests, the better these shows go. So keep that in mind for next week. We look forward to seeing you same time, same place, right here on the Bill of Rights Network. As always, I'm Cameron.
I'm Carl.
And I'm Wally.
And get pissed.